Hello everyone, this is Johannes.
And this is Cinema.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And today we are taking a look at Ada's Dream.
This is a new game coming to Kickstarter. It is designed by Tony Lopez and published by Alley Cat Games.
It plays from 1 to 4 players in 90 to 120 minutes.
So obviously we were sent this by the publisher, and as we always say in the beginning of previews, this is a prototype, so everything we have played, all the rule books, all the components, everything is going to be a prototype stuff. So we cannot say that this is going to be exactly how it is, but we're going to talk to you about what we felt when we played this game and what is it all about, so that hopefully you will get a better understanding of how the game is and if it might be for you. We're going to start with a little overview so that you get more feelings of what is going on in the game. In Ada's Dream, you are going to be a follower of Ada Lovelace and you are trying to make her dream come true. This is kind of a alternate reality where Ada didn't die young and she gets to live longer and see her dreams come to fruition and see what is going on later in her life. It is a Euro game, so most of the time you're not going to think about the theme, but I do like the theme here of actually trying to make it fit, and you're doing cogs and programs and stuff, but that's not for the overview because that's starting here. In this game you are drafting dice. You're going to draft probably most of the time 9 of these dice throughout the game, and then you are going to place those dice on your player board, which looks kind of like this. It looks exactly like this,
Yes.
Depending on if they change stuff. So when you have the dice that you have drafted, you will then be able to place the die on your player board and do the action that corresponds to the color of the dice that you placed. You are going then to do the green action, the yellow, the purple, or the blue action, which are briefly as follows. The green action is thematically you doing lectures at different universities. So you are going to then place one of your discs from your player board onto the different spaces to get bonuses. Over here in the meeting rooms, you will thematically hold meetings, meet new people that will then go into your hand. You're going to have a hand of 8 cards or a deck of 8 cards. Whenever you get a new card, you have to discard a card, so you always only have 8 cards in your deck. Here you're going to travel around in Britain, and you are going to move around here to get different bonuses, paying as you move. And down here in Ada's Study, you are going to get programs that you then will, this is going to be hard to show because it's a hole in it, but you will place them like this. Not balanced because this is going to be, you don't have to hold it in your hand, it can actually be on the table when you play it. And that's going to give you scoring opportunities, and then you're going to get some different bonuses, some cards that will help you move on the different science tracks. You will get some of these gears that will help you, we'll talk about that later, and some notebooks that will help you get bonus actions. That is the overview. Let's talk about some other stuff, for example this.
The artwork in the game is colorful and pleasant. I really like the style of it. It is a prototype, but my main complaint with it so far is the small text print on some of the actions. So when you're sitting far away from this piece, for example, it's hard to see what it says. And also over on these 2 action spaces over here, the symbols are very small. It is a fairly big board, so I don't know if they're going to make the text or the symbols bigger, but I would like to have them bigger for ease of play.
Especially this, I love these components, like it's a punch board, the old style of punch board computer, and that is nice. But you also see like there is double the space here.
There is a lot of
space. So this
space.
could have been double the size, and I hope they will change that because when we played that, this I would say was the biggest hurdle.
Yeah.
Because every time somebody's sitting on that side of the board, they needed to get all the pieces so that they could read them, and then they will put it back, hopefully put it in the right order, because that's important, and then you can play the games. That stopped it, kind of. I agree with this as well. Basically, the first time we played, you set this space, and you didn't do this.
I didn't focus on that at all. So the next time I played, I was just like, oh, these are actually cool actions. I want to do these. And so I hope, especially these, will be bigger or like more readable in the real version.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about the rulebook because the rulebook is so far a document. It was not hard to learn the rules. I made a video as well, so that was really helpful. So I cannot say anything about that, but we can say something about something else which you usually enjoy.
Yes, and that is play rates. I have consulted these play rates multiple times during our plays of the game, and on this side, you have two play rates.
Yep.
You have this one which explains your turns. You have like two main actions you can do, either draft dice or use the dice that you already drafted, and you also have a bonus action. On the other side, it is some of the like bonus actions,
All the bonus actions, yeah.
that you can do because it's easy to forget. They are also printed here, so that is also nice of a reminder as well. And on the other play rate, it's two-sided with all the steps for the actions and the bonuses that you get. I usually don't complain when there are play rates in the game, but I had to turn this a lot around.
Yeah.
I would love this because this takes up a lot of space. It could be like distilled, so it all would fit one side.
Yeah, for this one I think so, maybe not this one.
Yeah.
But then you can do then the thing we usually do with more players is to do one this side and one this side.
Yes, that
because there is one
pretty
for
well.
each player, so that is pretty nice. And I'm going to talk about a few things just like because it's prototype, and I'm just going to talk about a few things that is going to be different. There's going to be, because there are some things that are not changeable on this map that are going to be changeable. So if you already seeing this thing like, like there's different goals you can go for, there's going to be different. And the different universities that you move around here is going to be different. So there's many things that are going to be interchangeable that aren't right now. We played a game 2 and 4 player. It took us between 90 minutes and like 2.5, 2:45 with 4. But the first play was then a lot of rules checking. And of course, when you just have a document, it's hard. It takes more time because I have to scroll and find the right passage. So a lot of that time is for it being a prototype. How did you feel like, let's say you can get it to 2:15 with 4 and like 1.5 hours I think was pretty good with 2. How do you feel about that?
I feel like that is fine. Mostly the turns didn't go like very, very long.
Nope.
I felt like, but sometimes you had to be like, okay, do I want to do this bonus action now? Because you get so few things done in the game. You feel like you're always short on actions and resources, so you might want to overweigh some of your decisions very much, and then it can halt a little bit. But other than that, the game flow was very good.
I liked it a lot with 2. I think I liked it better with 4 because there are, we're going to talk more about it, but I like 4 mini games or 3 mini games, and I like a support game. And then when we end up playing 2, it's easy to, let's say somebody focuses on this and somebody focuses on that, you kind of get that for yourself. So it's going to be easier to get a lot of points there. Or like what happened when we played a 2-player game is that we both were focusing here and nobody was focusing here. So we kind of could very easily go in and grab some points there at the end. That's going to be more interesting with 2 people, that interaction part.
I agree.
Let's talk about the gameplay. Let's start talking about this drafting mechanism because we like drafting.
We really like drafting, and I like dice drafting very much. I love this because the timing of when to draft is very interesting, but also what to draft, because here you are bumping out dice. So if I want, for example, this white tree, then I have to bump with a higher dice to get that out. So for example, here I can bump with this 5, put it into the group, and then the tree will bump out. And here color doesn't have anything to say yet, just the numbers. And the die you bump out in the place that it is from, you also get the bonus.
That is true. And also there's different, so you can pay something to move 2 spaces with a die if you need. For example, if I wanted to get this 6, I couldn't get it with any of these, so I could pay some coal and move these 2 spaces so then I can bump out a 6 there and getting those bonuses. And also the timing here is interesting as well, because sometimes I really want to do the action, but let's say it's like this, and if I empty a space, I'm also getting this bonus, so I'm trying to like, oh, maybe I will then do that instead. Okay, that's going to give me a dice I need. The colors are what actions you get to do, so when you do the actions, like I explained earlier, the numbers doesn't have anything to say.
Yes.
The numbers are used for 2 things mostly. Well, there are 3 things. One is that you have to have the right number to be able to draft the die, and the other one is the cards that you get to play.
which are really interesting. Sometimes there are reasons for wanting high and low numbers, and the main reason for wanting low numbers is that it's easier to play these cards. So as you see, this card, to play that, you have to play it when you draft a tree.
Yes.
Yes. And sometimes you have to pay the cost of the value of the dice, and then it's really cheap if you play this together with a 1 and really expensive together with a 6.
Yeah, and sometimes in a game I'm like, especially if like, okay, I went for strategy, I end up a lot of money, and I'm like, oh, I drafted a 4, yeah, I'm just gonna play it so I get those resources I need. And then next round I'm gonna be like, no, I needed those to be able to do the things I wanted. So it's that balance also is very nice. And let's talk a bit about the player board, because this might be the most interesting part of the game. We're just gonna make some room here and place it out. So sorry about the mess that's going to leave after I move it out of the way again. But it's a very interesting part of the game. Something is under here. It's a book. Boom! Okay, so this is the player board. And on this player board, there is a lot of information. When you do the action, like when you draft the die, it's going to land over here. And when you place the die, it doesn't really matter where you place it. Other than that, it matters a lot where you place it, but it doesn't matter for the actions you take. So of course I get to do that, I get to do the action. We're not going to go deeply into the actions, I did it in the overview, talked about what was going on. Because this is, I feel like, more important and more interesting than the actions. Like, the actions are cool, but what you do with this is what makes the game unique for me.
I agree. It isn't mandatory to place these dice in any way.
No.
But you can potentially score a lot of points this way. So you want to make like these math equations, not equations, but like
it's a computer program, basically.
So let's say that we place some cogs and some dice over here.
You're making a horrible scoring now.
No, okay. I'm making a better scoring. This is also pretty bad though. But in this case, you're starting from the top or left to right, and this would net us, perfect scoring sample, 4 minus 2 minus 1 point at the end of the game. So one point! But usually you get like these plus or addition cogs, and you make a better equation that I just made.
Plus or multipliers.
Oh yeah, yes.
Like addition, this is, or else that would be the same.
Multiplication,
so you could do like this, which would be very good as well. 4 minus 2 times 1.
That would be more than we just had.
It would!
Yay!
I don't think it would be worth it to use a lot of resources to build that multiplier. The thing that makes this really cool is that to be able to score those rolls, you have to have 3 dice in it. You're going to have dice in all of them most of the time if you don't play very weird. And also you need to have then the 2 gears in there to be able to score the roll. So it doesn't matter if I have like 4 times 2 and I don't have anything there, it's going to be 0 points.
Yes.
So it's better than to build this negative, which is cheaper if I don't have enough to, or if I don't have any more addition cogs. It's going to be better to get that, to get the actual points. And also, what is really cool is that there's a limit to how much you can score, because you could basically do like 4 times 4 times
5, 6.
Like 4 times 2 times 6. That's going to be 8 6 times. I don't know what that is, but it's a high number. And can you score 48 points?
No, you actually can't in this game.
How many points can I score right now?
Right now you can score 10 points because your Steam marker is down here at 10. So during the game you can use books in these bonus actions.
In the workshop specifically.
Yes, and coal to up your Steam level, and that dictates the maximum score that you can get in this part of the game.
I didn't feel so far that going to 40 was worth it. Like, then you're gonna, because the thing is that I'm trying to fill up as many of these as possible, because every one of these you haven't filled is going to be negative points.
Yes.
So that means that I want to fill as much as possible. And then I'm probably not going to have multiple of these. Maybe 1, maybe 2 if you go like very heavy for it. I don't think like 4 of these. I'm not going to say because we haven't played the game like 10 times. But it might be possible. But to get multiple scorings up into here, or even get 1 when you... So I felt like using those bonus books for actions other places and going here, maybe up there, was the maximum I felt was needed. Because if I get 20, 20, 20... that's going to be a lot of points.
Yeah, I think the game is encouraging you to place these, or like make even equations, to even it out, so you can get like many like medium size numbers instead of having like one row that is 10 and one row that is 40. That is much more efficient. But if you have built 2 rows with 40 and the other is 0, probably you should go for this.
Yeah, and also you're gonna win. I think so. The other thing you're gonna score points for are the programs, which you can't see now, but I like this. It's kind of makes it pop. It does so that the other players doesn't see it, but they can ask, and most of the time I'm not gonna hate draft. Or never. I'm not gonna do that. Oh, you want that to score that 12 points. It's gonna be better for me to score some points.
Yes.
So these are gonna be, for example, all dice, same value. So if I place that here, I would like to draft enough 2s, and there are ways to manipulate the numbers. So if I get a 1, there's ways to later manipulate it to a 2, so I can to score these. And there's different strategies to go for. You don't have to go for many of these.
No.
You could, like I have done so. All the times we played, gone for like this purple strategy. I don't know. I won one of the times we played, I think. So 1 or 2 times. But I like, all in all, I really enjoy this part of the game.
I agree. That's another puzzle element that my brain really likes.
Let's talk a bit about the board, because basically there are, I'm going to move this away again, it's going to look messy. Not the football player, but the where it looks not tidy. The opposite of tidy. So basically, as we mentioned, these are mini games, 3 mini games. These are kind of the most mini games-y. This one gives you new cards and might give you some bonuses at the end of the game. And this is like a support action.
Yeah.
I don't feel like these, they don't work together. Like this works with the others, but there's not like I'm doing this to be better at this.
No, it feels like what I think is really cool is that, okay, they don't work together, but if I do this action that gives me a bonus, maybe lets me move 2 up or something up on this track, then it makes this action better.
That is true.
And then it makes my brain be like, I want to do everything after something else. I want to make my actions better before I do them. But to make them better, I have to do the actions. So that means that you're going to all of the time think, okay, which action do I want first? So the next action that I can do gets better. And that way, they kind of work together, even though they are very separate from each other.
I will say that this game is kind of, it's semi-tight. Like, it's not one where I'm like, oh, I don't know where to get my next coin, or I don't know where to get my next resource. But as you said, you always want to do the thing before you do the thing, because you need the thing to do the thing to do the thing. And that makes for it to be like it's a tight game, because you need to do things, and also you're always going to be in a position where like, oh, I want to do some blue actions now, but I'm only doing 9 actions. And I already done 2 of this and 2 of this. Okay, I'm only drafting 2 more dice. What is the most important for me to draft now? Am I going to go like heavier into this to get maybe to the bonus, or I'm going to go over here because nobody went for this row, so I can go here and get the bonus 4 points and the bonus ability. So there's a lot of things to think about. One other thing I really like about this game, which I haven't seen in this way, I think, in a game, and I think it especially makes it better for 2, and it also gives it a better, more interaction, and the timing is even more important, is that every time somebody takes a card, or a program, or one of these cards, 2 cards are going to be discarded. So let's say I take this, so this is not going to be discarded, but I take this, then this one is going to be discarded.
Because it's the oldest one.
And you're going to add 2 more. So this might be a problem if I look at something and I know, okay, I really want this one, and then you take this, and this one goes discarded, and I see that other people also have purple dice, so maybe now I have to go here, even though that destroys my timing plan to actually get this before it gets discarded. And I think that is a very smart mechanism. It might have probably been in other games as well, but I haven't seen it in this way. And as I said, like sometimes in 2-player games, markets get stale.
Yeah.
Because there's 3 cards nobody wants. But if I get one of them, then one is going to go away, and we're going to fresh up half of the market. So I really like that part as well.
I agree. I think that this makes the timing, as you said, very interesting.
Yeah.
And I also think like trying to plan based on what the other players has the opportunity to do is interesting in this game, because you can store 3 unused, like drafted dice at a time. So if I see that you have those 3 spaces filled up, I know that you're not going to interact with this board for a little while. If you don't have any white that's wild, or any of these purple dice,
for example,
drafted, I know that you're not going to be able to do this, probably. If you don't get a bonus for somewhere else before I get to do it. So you have some sort of control, especially in a 2-player game, but a little less control with 3 and 4.
Let's talk a bit about the weight and who do you think this game is for?
I would say that this is a medium plus game, so almost into the heavier scale, but I would place it in a medium category.
Yeah, I feel so.
And I think this is a puzzle Euro game, so if you're into, I think it's a fun dice drafting game, and if you want this, it's basically points optimizing puzzling. That's what you do. What I really appreciate is that you can very easily have an overview of how much you get to do in the game. So you can, especially towards the end, you can kind of see, okay, I have 4 bonus actions left. If I want to do these things, I have to start doing them now because I just get 1 per turn, for example.
That is true. I think that this is, I think that it's a classic feel. Like, it feels like many other games, but it does so in a couple of unique ways. I really enjoy this dice drafting mechanism. I haven't seen that before. This is kind of like it's not my final thoughts now, but it's kind of is. I think this is something that you will see and you will see like, oh, this is a novel way of doing that. I enjoy the different things they have done to make it just like a tiny bit different than many other games. Does every game need to be super different? It doesn't. I don't feel that. I'm not one person who feels like every game needs to be innovative and be very different. But I feel like this and discarding, like it's taken these mechanisms and made them differently. I will say this is not a super interactive game, but it's also not multiplayer solitaire. Like the puzzle you're doing, that is going to be your own thing. But the timing of these things, and
you
that
have
is
some majority
also,
here, you have some majority here.
I also think that is what makes it better with more than 2.
Yes.
It's still a very good game with 2, but I think like if you're going to play this with 3 and 4, it's going to be better than the 2-player experience. Do you have any final thoughts you want to add? I have a couple, so you can start. I will continue. We're not rating because it's a prototype, but we're doing some final thoughts.
Overall, I really like this game, and the fact that you have a limited things that you can do in one play makes it higher replayability for me, because still I want to explore, like, okay, but what if I do this time? Maybe I'm not going for filling up the cogs at all. Maybe I will find my points somewhere else, or maybe I will try to fill up my playboard as much as possible with high dice instead of playing the cards, for example. So there is many roads to Rome, or what you say, but I really like it. I really wish they make some of the text bigger. That's my biggest gripe with the game. Overall, enjoyment all the way.
Yeah, I will say this is not a revolutionary game. It's not one that you will play and feel like, oh, I never played anything like this. But sometimes that's fine. I enjoy my time playing this quite a lot. I love this puzzle. Like this and this is what makes the game fun. Like, it's some games where like the other things are there just to make this make sense. Because just doing this without having any reason for doing it, like I'm playing a die here, nothing happened. That would not be a fun game. So everything together, like the drafting, you need specific dice, you want specific numbers for the scoring here, but also you want the lower numbers to play the cards. You also want to have the program so that you get to have a specific dice and colors in the different roles. So that this is what makes it a good game for me. I would say that if you were just drafting the dice and just discarding them to do the actions, that would be a fine game. That would be an okay game. Even though this is unique and new, it will still be just like a fine game. Adding this makes it a good game for me. So if this is something that you think is interesting, you can check it out on Kickstarter. If it's not something you can think it's interesting, you cannot check it out on Kickstarter, because there's so many. You can't check it out anyways because it's free to check the page and read a bit about it, and you don't have to back it if you don't want to. That's up to you.
Famous last words.
Yes. This is the end of the video. If you enjoyed it and it gave you any info, you can help us out in a very big way, which is very helpful, and it makes us very happy, like this. by giving us a victory point.
And we get victory points when you click that subscribe button. You can also click the bell to get notifications every time we post a new video.
And that's going to be the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Johannes.
I'm Cinema.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye bye.